10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Whack Whack Attack. Today is February 1st, and yeah, there's some exciting stuff that's happening. So let's get into it. So yesterday, Ken wrote this comment. He said, so did I capture this correctly? Atlas launch window is end of February for Gurley, week of March 20th, after the March 15th, 2023 rewards period, estimated. Unless something happens, then second launch window is week of April 17th, after the April 12th, 2023 rewards date, estimated. Launch subject to change due to weather and go, no-go conditions. So then we had a reply from Langas saying that is correct, estimated. So I think this is really exciting because it's the first clear indication that we've gotten from the team of when Atlas might go live. So there are a couple of things here. First of all, that's really exciting. It's really great. Second of all, I'm slightly worried, but that's just my opinion, about how this might line up with rewards being withdrawable from Ethereum. So I think other people had some questions too about this. And then they asked Langas, so Hani Abu said, is that estimated time frame because that's when the withdrawals are estimated for, or is this something else deciding the time frame? So Langas replied by saying, let me see. Oh, I lost the comment. Give me a second. Right here. Okay. It says not really to do with withdrawals, although we do consider it. The critical path decides the timeline, what stuff we have left to do, and how long we think it will take. It basically comes down to finish audits, get report, finish bugs, auditors confirm fixes, release and community testing on Gurley, apply community feedback, and then releasing ODAO upgrade voting, etc. So that's the process that's left now from getting everything done and getting it live on mainnet. So the critical path is a project management tool. Basically, you write out all the tasks that need to be done, all their dependencies, and then you stack them on top of each other. And the thing that takes the longest amount of time is the critical path. That's how you work out the critical path. So it might be that things could get a little bit earlier, but hopefully not too much later from this. So that would be really good to see. I just really hope that we can get it out before withdrawals on mainnet, because I feel like there's such a huge capturing event we can do when that happens. But hey, let's see what happens. It's really exciting though that we're getting like actual dates. That March date would be absolutely fantastic if we could get it out for the week of March 20th, which is what myself and Denim and a few other people have been hoping for around that week sometime. So let's see. Okay, next we have this a couple of like screenshots from Joe where he was talking about like network unknown, network all, mainnet, Praetor, DevNet, and Zhejiang. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. And that's the latest DevNet that was due to go live. Well, this is from yesterday, right? So they're adding ability to interact with that DevNet, Joe is. And then there's another screenshot and it says name Ethereum mainnet, name Praetor testnet, and then name Zhejiang testnet. And this is description. This is the Zhejiang test network using free fake ETH and free fake RPL to make fake validators. And then use this if you want to test the upcoming Atlas upgrade to Rocket Pool, along with Shanghai and Capella upgrades to Ethereum that enable validator withdrawals. So it's really cool that everything is getting into place for going live on that. And then someone asked Joe, Ramana asked Joe, are we beta testing? And Joe says soon. And Ramana says, I guess I probably do want to try to withdraw, though this time I'm more confident others will figure out great docs for me. So yeah, maybe he won't be playing around with testnet too much. And then Joe has a final thing. He says Zhejiang support is hopefully complete. Since it doesn't even exist yet, it's hard to test. So Joe did all the stuff from his side, and then the next thing that happened was we this morning, Invis wrote this post, and he said 15 seconds, and then the beacon chain website page for Zhejiang went live. So that was really cool. So I asked, like, what is this actually testing? And it will be testing like everything for withdrawals, which is really cool. Let me see if I can get to my comment right here. So I said, what exactly will be tested on this testnet? Does it have full withdrawal capabilities? And people said yes. And then yeah, it's the Shapella testnet. So it's really cool that this is happening, and hoping that, you know, we'll be getting mainnet withdrawals maybe early April if everything goes well, which is really wonderful to see. Okay, next we have this comment from Jasper. He says the community space went live, and it will be talking about Silofinance and hyperstaking rETH. Of course, we'll also discuss the bi-weekly update, which covers some insane news. So you can click that, and you can play the recording on the Rocket Pool's space. So what was covered in this call? Silofinance teased that they're working on a pool that people can deposit RPL and earn rETH rewards. So this is isolated lending, and you'll be lending RPL for people to lever up with. And in the second half of the call, we did the bi-weekly. So some notes that Jasper shared with me. He says the exchange feeds, the team is daily done on Arbitrum, Optimism and Polygon feeds, and ZK Sync 2 is still being deployed. Notably, the team signaled a shift from wanting Chainlink to do both market and calculated feeds to now only wanting market feeds. This is honestly for the best. This is Jasper saying that, because, in my opinion, because Chainlink is ridiculously slow on releasing things. Expect IMC things to happen around when the feed goes live. So there'll potentially be lots of incentivization things happening. And he says Langer's revealed that his node went down for a bit, and he didn't use the rescue node. Langer's also mentioned he'd like to see research around secure enclaves in the next grant round when asked for a wish list. And Chris Black will be joining on community call on February 15th. An ODAO convention is being planned, wherein they will discuss the thread with all ODAO members and work towards a constitution. This meeting is mainly conversational, and the constitution is likely a longer term plan, and the team are fans of the constitution idea. And then everything else was what we covered on the bi-weekly update yesterday. So yeah, it seemed like it was a really good call, and people have it was a really good call. So fantastic. You can listen to that as well by going to the Twitter. So next we have an interesting thing that happened yesterday was the grants reward period allocations were released by the GMC, and what happened was Ramana was talking about how he was asking for money from the GMC for the Rocket Arb and the support that Ramana did with that, guiding people into using that. So basically what happened was he was asking for help to write an RPIP to challenge the amount that he received, because he thought that it wasn't commensurate with the amount of work that he put into Rocket Arb and the support that went with it. So he was asking for help, if someone could help him write an RPIP, and then he'd share a percentage of the RPIP rewards with the person who helped him write it. So that discussion, it kind of started a discussion, and Ramana said, like, you know, I want to be asking for more money, but like if you can help me, like he's asking for about 70, I think, or 80 RPL more than what was given to him by the GMC. And he said that with help in drafting, you'll get 1 RPL for submitting it and 4 more if it's successful, and the vote passes and the grant gets enlarged. So this like really spurred on the decision about like something like Noshua posted. He said, he's quoting Ramana's grant application, saying how much RPL is the applicant requesting to be awarded to the recipient. And Ramana replied by saying, I have no idea what to put here. So far, 220 ETH has been captured by node operators using RocketArb, and the recipient has spent in the range of 10 to 100 hours on it. So the numbers were kind of vague, didn't really include, I guess, what Nosh was saying, that, you left it kind of vague. And Ramana says it was the first ever retroactive grants submission. Now I know better. That number is 360 plus ETH now. So that kind of started a discussion when Nosh was like saying, I think it's tough to argue that the GMC got this wrong when you didn't come up with a concrete number yourself. And then Valdorf got involved as well, saying, I regrettably agree with Noshua. You had no suggested payment, and you said your time might be as low as 10 hours. Side note, amount captured by node operators isn't a relative metric for the protocol. The two things that mattered were A, mini pool attracted that wouldn't otherwise have been attracted, and B, soft value of having a guardrail that got stronger as we got further off peg. For what it's worth, my suggestion is if you want to push further, instead of a GMC challenge or a standalone RPIP, would be to do another retroactive grant application in the next round, explaining the benefits of the protocol better and why they have a particular value. So basically, a lot of people though were strongly agreeing with Ramana about deserving more, like significantly more than what the GMC offered Ramana for that. So I think Ramana's still trying to figure out about what he is or isn't going to do. But this is a good way to see what the process is like. So if anyone got a grant from the GMC and they're not happy with it, or if anyone in the community member is unhappy that someone got a grant to begin with and they felt they weren't deserving of a grant, then now is the time for you to write an RPIP for that and present the case of whether you want more or whether less, or to remove a grant altogether. And that would, I think, then be put to a community vote. So it's really interesting to see this process happening like on the back end. And yeah, I'm sure I'll carry on covering whatever Ramana decides to do in this situation. Okay, next we had this Langers was on the EthStaker call yesterday, and if we just watch for a quick second.
So you can swap it back to ETH on the open market, but you can't actually kind of redeem the token for ETH through that.
So it's not a particularly exciting clip, but yeah, so Langers was on the Ethereum withdrawal call, which was number 1 of the series that EthStaker is doing, just to get people information about what is going to happen on withdrawals. And it had nearly 1,000 views, which was really, really cool to see. And then RPL Maxi gave me some information. He says Langers was on the EthStaker YouTube call live discussing ETH withdrawals. He thinks that it might lead to slightly higher APRs, but nothing will change for liquid stakers because they're already liquid and they can swap back to ETH or into rETH whenever they want. For the node operators, the smart node stack will handle everything. So we'll be ready for forking when the time is right. And with Atlas, skimming will be possible. And then later, Langer said that for solo stakers, there'll be a one-time opportunity to join Rocket Pool. If they need to change their credentials, they'll have the chance to change their credentials directly in the smart node stack, which is what Joe was talking about yesterday. So that was definitely interesting. If you're curious about everything about withdrawals, this was a really cool call, and there was a lot of like really nice, like really good people on there. So definitely give it a listen. Okay, next we had this meme that kind of developed in these last couple of days. So Joe made a Proteus, and on the Proteus there was an issue with a power button. So he kind of made this like little clip, this piece that went into it. So when you look at the power lights with the little power button, and then I think the bottom slot is a mini SD card input, but I'm not sure. People kind of turned it into this NFT pretty much, yeah, and it's on chain. Yeah, Fizz was saying my Proteus by Joe's already done its first act of public good by contributing to a mascot to home staking, thanks to the design prowess of Nixo. Meet Stakeman. So this is Stakeman, who you can see, which is really cool. So it's nice to be memeing things, and then you can actually buy the NFT on OpenSea. So let's have a look. I should have had that open before. So there's 178 items. They're created January 23rd. So there's all sorts of different colors, and it's really cool. Like I really like it. There's been some volume already, and there's a floor price of 0.002 ETH. So that's awesome, and it's on Optimism. So Fizz had this tweet thread that came with it. Let me see, actually here. Fizz had this tweet thread that came with it. And kind of like things that have happened in the last week. So he said, I really like the idea of stacking, the idea of idea stacking, where one thing happens and others continue building on it in new and always fun and interesting ways. I was lucky enough to have been part of 2 this week. I hope you'll find ways to stack ideas too. So let's talk about the 2 different ways that Fizz's ideas had idea stacking. The first was with the rocket poolers, with Guatigua and then Marceau and Professor Werder, that kind of coming together to make this amazing chain of rocket poolers being really passionate. And then the next one was Stakeman, which Fizz says the second idea was a stacking event started when Joe sent me a Proteus. I made a video that I covered in yesterday's episode. Nixo created Stakeman meme from the video screenshot, and then ABCO Athop, developed it into an NFT series, and you can go and buy the NFTs. And he says, I just see so much potential for fun and new ideas when we collaborate together and extend ideas in events that interest us. I look forward to more of this evolution of organic content. So I really like Stakeman, and yeah, it's really cool. So I think that's gonna be around for a while. Let's have a look at what we have next. So next we have some links from Marceau doing some temperature checks, right? So he says, temperature check. There are 16 million ETH staked, which will be withdrawable for the first time with Shanghai. In the 60 days after Shanghai, how much do you think will be withdrawn or fully exited or skimmed? So I responded by saying 0 to 15%, and it seems like most people think it will be under, more than 90% of people think it will be under 30% that will be fully exited or skimmed. I think with skimming, that's going to happen automatically, and there's about 1 million ETH on the beacon chain that is skimmable, and that should be skimmed within the week, I think, of a cycle if it goes the way that it's supposed to. So there'll definitely be a percentage of it that's skimmed, but then how much will be withdrawn? Most people seem to think less than 30%. The next one was, of the amount of ETH withdrawn, how much will be sold as opposed to re-staked or held? So I chose 0 to 25%, and it seems like, again, 90% of the people think less than 50% of the ETH that will be withdrawn will be sold, and 0 to 25% is chosen by 72% of people. So the vast majority of people think that either very little or none of it will be sold. And then finally, we have this other tweet. He says, 90 days after Shanghai, how much less more ETH will be staked? Freshly staked ETH minus withdrawals. So let's have a look. It says slightly more, which is what I chose, 43%, and significantly more, 44.4%. So in total, that works out to be around 89%, which is what I expect, and which is what most people expect. So it's really interesting to see what people think about these different scenarios and how it's going to work out. Of course, none of us know, but it's interesting to see what the community thinks and make guesses based on that. Okay, next we have this tweet from IHAM. Let's go to the tweet and have a look what it says. It's from Silofinance, and it says, welcome Rocket Pool to the Silofinance family. rETH has a risk isolated lending market now. Unlike shared risk lending markets, our Silo shields you from risk. Each Silo is its own island. There is 100 ETH in the market now. Deposit rETH, borrow ETH. So as far as I can see, this is another hyper staking tool that you deposit your rETH, get ETH, then buy more rETH, then deposit it and just do it over and over again. I'm not sure of the full details, but let's have a look what they say in the tweets. It says you can simulate a borrow position. The app will tell you how much borrow API you will pay if you choose to borrow. Give it a shot now. So then there's information, and yeah, and Jasper says it's a great way to maximize your yield. So if you're interested in doing some of those hyper staking tricks, then definitely check out Silofinance. There's a whole bunch of services that are coming onto the market now that will let you do this kind of thing. It's one of the things that has me more bullish on rETH demand than I was a few months ago. Right now, I'm very bullish on rETH demand, and I'm very happy that we'll have 8 LEB8s to lift that demand by 3 times as much as we have now. So it's going to be a really exciting time for Rocket Pool. Okay, and then we have that tweet that we just read. Okay, good. Next, we have this interesting news from EthStaker.tax. So this is a website that helps you calculate your tax obligations on your ETH, staking ETH. And the person who wrote this is ETH2353. It says, today I bring you some exciting news about ETH2 tax. Well, as exciting as tax-related website can be. So the big news is income calculation now includes execution layer rewards. And then they go and give a breakdown of all the different kinds of tools that this service offers. You can read it all in this Reddit thread that's linked in the description. But they mentioned Rocket Pool specifically, saying, PS, one thing for Rocket Pool stakers, if you're part of the MEV smoothing pool, you likely don't want to count your execution layer rewards at the time you receive them. You'll only technically gain dominance over them when the reward period ends. I'll try to figure out a solution for this. For now, the rewards are always shown on the date the block was proposed. The bit more correct approach would be to ignore these and add the pool rewards on the day the reward period ends. Improving Rocket Pool support in general is next on my to-do list. So it's really cool that people who are working on staking services are starting to integrate Rocket Pool more. One interesting comment that was here was EthStaker Throwaway says, amazing work. Thank you for contribution to this community. Having recently started a mini pool, Rocket Pool, I'm glad to see the new execution layer separation feature and also hear about the upcoming improvements. And then they say, Rocket Pool has a grants program. I'm not sure of the details, but I feel like this tool could qualify. It might be worth checking out. So I'm on the GMC, so I can't really say too much. However, I think ETH 2353 should definitely either apply for a grant and then implement those features, or ideally implement the features and then apply for a retroactive grant. So that's very interesting. And next we have this the lore of looking for owls' penis NFT that we covered when he gave it to Lee. Now it's been sent to Object, who has started using it as their profile picture on Discord. So that's great. Before the image got sent, Object set a poll: should Object change their profile picture now or once the penis transaction has cleared? And everyone said change it now. So as you can see, the penis is now Object's profile picture. And there was a really funny comment by Looking for Owls. He says, it's like the community penis, everyone gets a ride. So that's really touching and heartfelt. So I guess there's more rides for people in the future. Something kind of funny that I want to end today's episode on was a little bit of Schadenfreude. So let's go to this tweet by Zach XBT. Zach XBT, for those of you who don't know, is kind of like a detective, like a crypto detective, who's like finding out all sorts of issues that people have, or kind of doing investigations of like scammy projects and stuff. So he was replying to a tweet by Thomas, who says, for the past 2 weeks, I've been targeted in an extremely thorough social engineering scam that nearly cost me all my ETH. I'm super lucky to have made it through unscathed. Here's my story. And then Zach XPT says, this scammer ended up losing $600,000 plus due to UST. So the collapse of Terra Luna meant that this scammer lost $600,000, which, okay, I know that was probably someone else's $600,000 that they scammed, but I'm kind of glad that the scammer got scammed here. So there were some funny tweets where Guy says, I'm sure there's a scene of scammers scamming scammers just below the surface. And then it's Omar from The Wire saying, we're all in the game though, right? And people were just kind of like just laughing. But yeah, these are the best stories, 100 when the scammer gets scammed. And this is beautiful. Yeah, so it was that's something that made me happy on Thomas's behalf. So yes, scammers get scammed. But anyway, I want to give a huge thanks to all the wonderful people who helped me get today's episode ready. I'm gonna start giving like shout outs every day for the people. So let me get back here. So we had rplmaxi.eth and Kevster and Rocknet and aliask.eth, Rocknet, Object, Rare Bunny, Sneaky Ninja Guy, Ken got beat, Shifrin, Jasper, and yeah, and the rest are going to get covered tomorrow. So I just want to say thank you to everyone. I'm sorry if I missed your name. But yeah, thank you for everyone for helping make Rocket Fuel that little bit easier to get out. It's been a tremendous help to me. I appreciate you all so much. I'm so incredibly thankful for everything that you're doing, and you're making Rocket Fuel possible, and I owe you all an immense debt. So we're working on getting the leaderboard stuff set up, so you'll be able to see day by day who is performing how on the leaderboard, which is going to be really exciting. And yeah, we'll be having a lovely monthly raffle going forward, so I'm really excited about that too. But anyway, thank you all for listening and watching, and I'll have another episode out tomorrow. Bye.